and then that will be Kitty's. Hello and welcome to the membership profile tutorial and Impexium database tutorial. I'm Jessica Irizarry, the Director of Chapter Strategy and Program Development at ASID. I'm joined by my two colleagues, Maisha Hawk, Associates of Chapters, and Yarmila Zapata, Director of Membership. Today we are going to go through a member profile, which is newly launched for ASID this past winter. And as soon as I can figure out how to share my screen, we'll go ahead and do it. Okay.
We can see your screen.
Right. We can see my screen. Okay, great. Thank you so much. So we should be looking at just a basic Google page. We're going to go through logging in, basic login. So asid.org is our web address, and all members will access their member profile online by going to asid.org. Once this landing page opens up in the purple navigation bar here, we're going to click on log in. And it's already logged me in, which we were hoping that that would not be the case because we wanted to show you how to do some of these things directly. Let's try that again. Let's open an incognito window maybe. Apologies. Try this again. Nope, it's not working. All right.
Jess, it seems like you're logged in as the Alabama administrator.
Yeah, I know. It should just be logging me out of everything.
Yeah. Feel free to unshare your screen and see what's going on.
Well, we're recording, so asid.org. Let's try this one more time. No, it's still doing it. Okay.
Jess, I'll go ahead and send the screenshot of what the login screen looks like, and you can go ahead and continue.
Okay, thank you. Right. So when you log in, like most websites, there'll be a forgot password option that you can select. If you hover your cursor over the forgot password option, it will illuminate in yellow, and then you can click on it. Oh, here we go. All it needed was a little bit of time. Okay, so this is the login screen. The login screen will look different than the one that you've been used to historically. This is the interface of the new Impexium database. So you'll have your username and your password entered here. You can select the Remember Me so that the next time you log in, you don't have to re-enter your credentials. It'll just save them for you. If you forgot your password, hover your cursor over, click here. Here will illuminate, indicating you can click on it and enter in the email address associated with your membership profile. That will trigger a temporary password where you can then go and reset, as is standard for most online interfaces that require a login. If you do not have an account yet, for example, if we are at a chapter event and we're recruiting members and somebody is logging in real time, they can create their account through the same way, asid.org, log in, and then don't have an account yet, create an account. So if you hover your cursor over that, it'll illuminate in yellow and you can click on that. But for these purposes, we're going to go ahead and log in and take a look at the anatomy of a member profile as a member might experience it. Now, the landing page after you log in will feel very familiar to you. It is our website. And our menu options that we'll concentrate on today are these quick links that are listed here underneath your membership name and affiliation, where you can go ahead and view and pay your invoice, edit your profile, update your account, and view your membership card. We're going to go through some of those pieces along with a couple other areas of information that you might be able to update, or that members may be able to update in their membership profile. As we go through this, I want to make sure that you guys recognize that I am using my accounts. My login permissions will be more advanced than the general member. However, all the things that we'll be showing you, the general member will see as well. So when I click on View and Pay Invoice, this takes me to our Impexium database interface. So this is going to look and feel very different for a lot of our members. So just take a minute, let your eyes adjust, look around, and you can figure out where you're going. These quick links over here on the right-hand side of the page will show any open balances. Open balances, if they are available, will have a button available here for you to click and pay your invoice if you want to make a payment to your invoice. Underneath that, you'll have some membership information listed. So the chapter that a member might be affiliated with and assigned to, and then also the membership type that they might have. It will be listed here. For renews, we will have a renewal button. If you have a renewal coming up within the next 60 days, your renewal button will show and you'll be able to renew your membership and experience a smooth transition in benefits from one membership year to the next. So I'm going to use, go back to our login homepage. I'm going to click on Edit Profile. And you'll see a lot of these links will take me to the same place, and that's okay, because this is everything that we're going to be doing is going to the same place. Sometimes it's helpful to give a quick link because people are looking for that one thing. So when they get there, so we clicked on Edit Profile, this takes us back to our database interface, Impexium interface. And now we'll see that we're on, instead of the Overview tab, which is where we were when we were paying our invoice, now we're on the Account tab. And the Account tab will allow us to have update a lot of personal information. And you'll know that we're updating personal information because the personal info selection is highlighted in blue. And this is where we can add things like titles, gender, preferred communications, and we'll get into some of that below as well. For your updating your communication methods. My preference is email, so I'll put email there. If my preference were phone, I'd select phone there. And we'll go ahead and scroll down. This is an employment status where you can enter your employment status, how you heard about ASID, and then here's some other demographic information that we that's available for folks to self-identify. Their information on your education, and the graduation date in particular is going to be important for our student members as they advance to allied membership post-graduation. So if you come across a student member that you're working with and helping to navigate their member profile, if their graduation date is blank, encourage them to fill that part out. This is where you can select your degrees earned. Then there's professional certifications and accreditations that we can select here, including an other and a not applicable option. If your student is with a student chapter, they can click Student Chapter Member. Your work affiliation and including your individual market sector, these are the options that are given to us, including other and not applicable. And then also we have other professional membership organizations. So if you are a member of other professional organizations, then there's a list here that you would select if you wanted to capture that information in the ASID database in your ASID member profile. There's also space here for folks to include their member numbers should they want everything to be living in one place. And then here we're going to spend some time on communication preferences. This is really important for our volunteer leaders, specifically as they may hear from members throughout the year, indicating that they have recently, that they have not received chapter communication. The biggest telltale sign that people have not received chapter communication is one of two things. One, we don't have a correct email address for them, or they're getting bounce backs for emails that we're sending to them. The second reason is their communication preferences have not been updated. Now, the communication preferences options are here, and those that you select will be the communications that you receive. If you select third-party communications, that indicates that people will be opted into your third-party communications, meaning those e-blasts that your IPs and other sponsors might purchase through your various offerings. If this is unchecked, your members will not receive it. If you select none, even though these boxes are still checked, none supersedes all of the other selections. So you will not receive any communications. So if a member is not receiving your communications, come here. If that box is checked, have them uncheck it, and then they'll start receiving those communications as well. All ASID communications I believe indicates that that an individual will receive all communications related to ASID. It may not include third-party communications, and we will confirm that. And then further down, we can upload our certifications for NCIDQ, as well as our education transcripts for membership. And there's some additional questions. And then once everybody is done making those personal updates, you click on save, and then that'll be the case. So if you'll forgive me, I'm going to scroll all the way back up. I apologize if this makes you a little bit dizzy. For folks who want to update their contact information, we're going to go to that next tab. That contact information from your login profile is going to be update account. So we can update account and it'll take us to that same spot. Although I don't want to lose my place in line. So let's open in a new tab. So it takes us back to our account page. We'll click on contact information, and this is where we can see what type of information are available to us. This is the address that we have available. If we wanted to add a new address, maybe we have a secondary home, maybe we're moving, we can edit to indicate we're no longer at this address, and we can add new to add a new address. The same is true for phone numbers, email addresses, and web links. Web links, so if you have a house page or if you have a business address, a website that you want to include here, this is where you would add those features, as well as your social media. And then finally, we're going to talk about the membership card. So if I right click and I open up our membership card, I'm going to see it's going to take me to Purchases tab, which is different from the Overview and Account tab that we've been primarily focusing on so far. It'll take me to the Purchases tab with the membership options. And then this is my active membership. And if I look over here under ID card, I'm able to click and download. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. It's going to ask me if it's okay to download a file to my computer. I'm going to select yes. It's going to prompt me for another piece of information. I'll select okay. Wherever your downloads take place, mine take place in this web browser bar up here. That's where you would go to access your membership card that you downloaded. So I'm going to give you an example of what that looks like. And I'll enlarge it so you can see what it looks like. One of the things I do want to make sure that you're aware of is we are aware that the logo is disfigured. So we are working on making those adjustments. One of the things I do want to point out here as well is that the logo, the membership cards are no longer being printed as part of ASID's sustainability policies. So they will not be designed or as highly styled as we've seen in the past, and we will not be printing and sending them any longer. So if a member wants to have a copy of their card on them, this is where they would go to download a copy of that card. And one last thing I want to kind of walk us through as it relates to our membership profile is more in the accounting space when we want to pay our membership. So we're going to go to purchases, because when we click on pay membership, it'll take us to this purchases tab. And I want to make sure that we understand where our stored payment information is held, where we can update our credit cards or our expiration dates. And then we can set up our automatic payments in terms of if there are installment payments, which are now happening every quarter as opposed to every month. This is where members can update and edit those things. Because I do not have any stored payment options, it's not going to have anything here for me, but you can add a payment option here. And then the auto payments will pop up here. I have no previous auto payments, but if you want to see a record and a history of that, this is where our members would go. And our active auto payments would be here, indicating that they are in installment payments. So this is where they can have more control and management over their membership with ASID. I'm going to stop share here. This is the end of the member profile walkthrough. It was a high-level walkthrough. We'll go ahead and answer any questions that you guys might have. I'm going to invite my colleague Yarmila to join us on camera so she can help us navigate these questions. You're on mute, Yarmila.
I guess the first one is about updating the address. So let me show you where that is located. I was actually just going to type in the answer for that, but hold on. Can you guys see my, oh, never mind. Hold on, we'll just, a moment. Okay, so you'd actually go to the account tab and click on contact information, and you can update an existing address here by editing this, or you can actually do, yeah, so that's how you update the address, or you can mark it as bad address if it's no longer applicable, or delete it. And you can also add an entirely new address by clicking on this green button. In terms of changing your chapter to match the address or the area that you're located, you can only do that during the join or renew process. So you'd actually have to reach out to membership, and we can do that on your behalf.
Thanks, Yarmila. I'm going to interrupt for a quick second and say that Yarmila is answering Brianna's question, which is about what happens when a member moves to a different state. How do they update their profile?
Let's see what the next question is.
The next question is from Kim. What is the benefit to the member if they provide individual, market, professional, organization memberships, various membership IDs, etc.? So what's the benefit of capturing additional demographic data and external organizational data for a member?
So that actually helps us better understand our members, and also for any future segmentation. So that's where it's useful, so that we can know our members better.
It could also be useful for the individual member as well when they're going to one place and they're seeing all their information in the same spot. I imagine that there might be some circumstances where a CEU requirement might be required for licensure in a state where they might want to get all of their account information and login. I know IDCEC in particular, their login begins with their IDCEC number. It's a very long number. Most members do not remember what that is. And if they have access to their ASID member profile, they can also have access to certain pieces of information that will help them navigate other aspects of professional development within interior design as well. So there's a benefit to us as an organization that translates to the chapter level as well, because everything that's in here we can kind of report on. The second question is from Pat. Where are designers given a design community? Pat is a Texas chapter administrator. They have lots of design communities in the Texas chapter, and she's always assigned them directly. So Yarmila, if you wouldn't mind taking us through the design community, I did overlook that piece since it is not applicable to all of our members.
Sure. Actually for this, I probably have to log in as somebody. Let me see.
Well, I'm logged in, so I can go ahead and show on my screen if it's the same as what members would see.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, you can do that. And I can walk you through the process. Okay. So you actually want to click on the left sidebar where it says chapters with design communities and expand upon that. In this case, all of them are displaying because Jessica's an admin. If somebody's part of the Alabama chapter, as an example, they would only see Alabama, or they would only be able to access that. So in this case, since Jessica is not part of this chapter, nothing is displaying. But if she were to be part of Alabama chapter, then she would see the offerings or the options for the various design communities that are available. I don't know if you have an example that you can show.
Not off the top of my head. We can give you guys some screenshots after that, but because all of our administrators and all of our volunteer leaders are members of chapters, if you log into your membership profile and you click on chapters and you're in your account, overview, doesn't matter which tab. These options over here should remain the same. Click on chapters with design communities, select your design community, and you can see what that looks like. Now, as a reminder, this is a self-selection for the members. So the members who are used to being a part of a design community or who know that they are a part of the design community can come here and manage which design community they should be a part of as well. So that selection process should happen at the join and renew. I believe, Yarmila, is that correct?
They'll actually be able to see that as long as they're a member of have membership. So yeah.
Thank you. And our next question comes from Shauna Reed. Membership for designers, still one chapter only, or can they be members of more than one? I think the question is whether or not designers may have more than one chapter affiliation.
So for individual members, we are only allowing one chapter.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Emily Khan is asking, she knows that we touched on it, but she's unable to update her job information. Can we show her where to edit the company information?
Okay. I can share my screen if you want.
Okay.
So, let's see. Actually, hold on one moment. Sorry, I'm gonna stop sharing for a minute.
While you're pulling up that piece, I'm going to go ahead and answer a couple of the other questions. One question from Kelly B. Magnon, I apologize if I butchered your last name. Is there a way to save the membership card to a wallet or a My.Doc card? The membership card download is a PDF. So if those applications accept PDFs, then yes, you can upload those. But if they do not, maybe they accept a picture or another way of uploading, but that will be dependent on the program itself and less dependent on the card. But it is not automatically enabled in the same way that maybe an airline boarding pass would be enabled. So I hope that answers your question there. Shauna has a question related to membership requirements. If a design member does not upload education or work experience for the membership requirement, will that be flagged and audited? Yes, we do audit frequently and regularly our ASID requirements for transcripts, etc. I don't know that we do 100% of our membership at the same time. I think that might be something that we don't have the capability of doing. So it happens on a rotating basis. There is an attestation that members are required to select at the join and renew, which is stating that they are aware of the requirements. They do have to upload their transcripts, and the responsibility is on them to do that. As it relates to membership and leadership within the chapter, it is important to, as chapter members are coming on and as we're doing succession planning, if you want to check to make sure that the alignment with the required documentation is in place for the appellation that person holds. You could check their documents page as well, or they can go ahead and check their documents page and they can upload the documents that they need to upload. And I'll go ahead and share my screen really quickly to show you where that is, because we did not specifically point that out. There is a documents tab here. So you would click here and you can upload your information. I recommend that people go and maintain their account information, the personal info. And this is, if you scroll down, and apologies for the scroll, where you would upload all of those documentations. I think that's the easiest way to do it, is to go here, because it's a little bit more it hand holds the member in terms of this is what you can upload. And Yarmila, if you're ready, we'll go ahead and kick it back to you. Otherwise, we'll move on with some of those other questions until you're ready.
Yes, I'm ready. I just had to impersonate somebody.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm impersonating someone currently. What you want to do is link yourself to the organization if you don't currently have an employer. So this is where you would go. And I guess you would click on, well, these are some of the results displaying based on the email domain address. I think I would probably click on, if it's not one of those, then you would just click on the add to or the organization name or record and search, and then click on save if that to pull it up once it pulls up. And you may need to type in the address of the organization, but if you have any issues, you can contact membership for those as well.
Thank you, Yarmla. And as a reminder, that was the response to the question of where can you update your company information. We have a question from Terry Smithers. Are you recommending that all members go in and update and verify their profile information now that you have migrated to the new system? That's a really great question, Terry. I think the answer is we consistently do that when we submit information to our members, like renewals, all the invoices, chapters in particular. This is a good opportunity. Whenever we have elections happening, it's a good opportunity to ensure that members are able to participate by reaching out to make sure that people are updating their membership profile. When we migrated over to the system, our members should have received an email from the system asking people to log in to become familiar with their profile and to make some of those edits and adjustments. So we do recommend that continue to happen. And I see Yarmla's typing a response as well, so go ahead and let her finish that question. Veronica wants to know, she doesn't see an option to select a design community under her account. She was only able to select a chapter. We'll get back to you on that, Yarmla. I'm sorry, Veronica, and in our follow-up and make sure we include that in our documentation that we'll supply after the fact. Veronica also has a question around students. Students would like clarification on required documents. Do they need all documents or just one, like a transcript or a letter, etc.? Yarmla, I'll ask you to answer this one.
Sorry, can you repeat the question one more time?
Sure. Students would like clarification on required documents. Do they need all documents or just one? The examples that Veronica offered are transcripts, letters, etc.
For students, so we're looking for proof of enrollment. And so you can submit an official letter from the school. That could be like an acceptance letter, or if you have your course schedule, you can include that as well, or a transcript. The system only allows you to upload one document at a time. So if you are including maybe multiple documents that are separate, you can attach them or merge them into one attachment and then upload it.
Thanks, Yarmla.
So, yeah.
Okay, I appreciate that. And this concludes our portion of the membership profile overview. At this time, I'll invite all of our volunteer leaders to feel free to reclaim the rest of your day. And I'll ask that our chapter administrators joining us remain on the call as my colleague Maisha takes us through the Impexium database process.
Thank you. I am Maisha, the chapter's associate. All of my chapter administrators should be familiar with me. Today, we are going to go over some of the Impexium accesses that may look familiar to you because we've had a chance to give you an insight into what it looks like previously during Gather LA. And as new functionalities develop, we will be sure to keep you alert about them. Something to keep in mind is that you will be asked to provide a signed database authorization form, which we will be sending out at the end of this week in order to get your Impexium access. So if you have received an email from Impexium with your access, please disregard that because you will be getting a new login feature. With that said, let's get started. Thank you to the Alabama chapter for giving me permission to showcase their profile today. I am going to be showing you what it looks like when you log in as an administrator first. So as you can see, this is what your administrator account will look like. You can go to add image and click on it if you would like to update your latest headshot. And then you will press save or upload image and then close. You can go to accounts and then click on contact info to update your address, phone number, emails, etc. Something to remember about updating your email address is that your primary will always be your ASID administrator email address. Under relationships, under chapters, you will see that you will be listed as the administrator for all of the chapters that you are employed by or serve as the administrator for. You can go to, I don't think you have to, don't worry about having to update this information. I will go ahead and do that on the back end. However, if you belong to an organization that you want to update, you're welcome to do that here. Now that we've covered what your profile looks like, let's go ahead and look at some of the core functionalities you as the administrator will be using day to day on Impexium. So we go to start. You have two options. You can either go through the drop-down of the options available. I like to press on apps because it gives me these little icons to look at. I go to customers and I press on customers if I want to look up a organization or an individual who belongs to my chapter. So let's press on customers and then let's start with individuals. We'll click on individuals and then type in the name of the person who we're trying to look up. Let's just press A and see who shows up. As you can see, these are all the individuals who belong to the Alabama chapter. And you can also go ahead and look up the specific organizations that belong to your chapter by going to Customers app again and then clicking on organization. You can click on name for the name of the organization and then click on search. All of the organizations with the name that you're looking for will show up here. And if you go to the member is member tab and it says yes, that means that they receive member benefits or they're an organization that is a member of ASID. Now, one of the most important things to all of our administrators is to be able to download their rosters and have that available at your fingertips. We've listened to your concerns. We understand how important it is to you. And this is how you will be able to self-serve and have access to your chapter roster at any time. So this means that you don't have to wait on the ASID HQ team to get back to you on your queries about your chapter roster. So let's go back to the apps. We'll click on queries, then we'll click on Query Center, and then we will go to all queries. Now, as the administrator, these are all of the queries that you will have access to. Previously, you may have received a long list containing all of this information. Now it is divided by the category, whether someone is an active individual member, whether it's an organization, whether they've been terminated or suspended. So instead of getting all of that information at once, you get to select what it is that you need. And you're also welcome to just put it all back together in an Excel format if you need to have one copy of all of this information. So let's start with the Alabama chapter's individuals. We will click on Run. And it'll take a second to load. And then we will go to Actions, click on Actions, and then we can download it into the format that we need. We tend to use Excel the most, but if you need it in any other format, this is where you would go. So once again, you would go to Query Center. This is your list of all of the queries. You click on Run. Then you click on Actions, and then you can export to Excel. Great. And then the last thing I wanted to be able to show you is what your chapter profile looks like. So if you are the admin for a chapter or multiple chapters, This is where they will be all listed. You will notice, since we're working with Alabama, let's keep going with this example. This is the Alabama chapter profile. So your individual chapter's profile will look similar. This is where the name would be. This is where you can go to upload the image or the logo for your chapter. So you click on add image. It's not working for me. Well, that's okay. You can go to account, and then you can update the contact information for the chapter here, phone number, email addresses, etc. And that's it. Thank you so much. So those are all the functionalities that you as a chapter administrator will be using day to day. I also wanted to take a quick moment to show you what it looks like when you go to an individual's profile who belongs to your chapter. Again, I'd like to remind you that you can only look up the individuals who belong to your chapter. So let's go ahead and take a look. I'll look up a specific individual. April with the chapter leader. And this is what it would look like on their account. Obviously, you cannot edit any of these functionalities, but you can if you need to give them a heads up about what their expiration dates are, etc., etc. Thank you so much, and I will stop sharing my screen. Okay, seems like we're getting some questions already. Jessica, is there anything that you wanted me to cover? Just want to make sure I touched on everything.
Well, let's just answer these questions. I think that we covered everything that we can. I will invite Yarmila to join us as well in case there's some questions that we can that she can answer for us. Casey asks, can we edit the chapter address from the profile? The answer is yes, you can. So if you go into your chapter drop-down menu option, you find your chapter, you open it, you can edit the address there when it needs to be edited. So it can be a PO box, it can be, there are different options as well. You can have a shipping address. As we all know, most places do not ship to PO boxes. So there's an option for that as well. What we want to caution against is you using your personal home address or other personal addresses that are not going to be affiliated with the chapter in perpetuity. And this is for your own privacy protection as well as data integrity within our systems. If you make a transition from one chapter to the next, or as you absorb multiple chapters, or as you may find other employment opportunities outside of ASID, we would not want your personal information to continue to be associated with the chapter's record in the database. This is why you all have individual records in the database, so that as their transitions might take place, your personal information is no longer affiliated or associated with that chapter piece.
I guess one more thing to add, it looks like you have to go to the account tab in order to be able to edit the address. So I don't know if you want to show that, but so you can't do it on the main overview. It's actually, it's the tab next to that.
Yes, so all of the personal information or the specific information to a record in the database, whether it is an individual record, an organizational record, or your chapter's record, the way to navigate to those updates is by selecting the account tab, and then you can go from there. We have a question from Shauna that says, well, National was sending out monthly membership rosters to the chapter like before, and this is directed to Maisha.
Thanks for your question, Shauna. To clarify, Yarmila, since the chapter admins will be able to access their rosters on an ad hoc basis whenever they need to, will they still be receiving monthly rosters from ASID HQ?
They can, but they would have to be set up. It would have to be set up to be automated.
Yes. So one of the perks of the database in the query system, I believe, is that as you run the reports, I believe you can also set them up to run automatically at the cadence that works best for you. So some of our chapters like to receive membership rosters weekly, so they can go in and set them up weekly. Some of them like to receive them monthly only, and some like to do ad hoc as it relates to events, etc., where a member list would be important, so they could have for pricing at the door, etc.
Great.
So we have a question from Helen. I'm president. I don't see any chapter membership information. Helen, this is the administrator backend database system that they're seeing. So you will not see this as on your member profile. If you are the board member who has been designated with the database access, then that's with a different login than your member profile. And we can talk to you about that offline. Casey asks, will the address change be reflected on the chapter website once it's changed? That's a really great question, Casey. I believe the answer is no, it will not. Their systems are two separate systems. Our database does not talk to the website in that way. The website that you're talking about with updating the contact information and the is a part of the template, and that template can only be updated by our web development team. Pat Gallagher has a question. Do I understand that I have to go through my personal profile to get to the chapter record? Maisha, why don't you take this one?
Sure. Pat, let me try and break it down. So you don't have to go through your personal profile to get to the chapter records. However, you do have to use your administrator profile to access the chapter records. So in your example, since this is the Texas chapter we're speaking about, you would log in with your ASID administrator email address and then go to the chapters tab on the left in the drop-down section to find the Texas chapter. And then you can go to the Texas chapter record to make any updates to the chapter profile. Hope that answers your question.
Kay has a question. What about committees? Are we adding people to committees as in the past? Yarmila, I'm going to punt this one to you.
So this one is currently, we're going to have to get back to people. It's a work in progress.
Thank you. The next question, Yarmila, I'm going to keep you off mute, is from Maria Mendez in our New Jersey chapter, or sorry, Mariana. She wants to know, can we set up notifications that alert us when someone is suspended, somebody is new, someone has terminated?
So what you can do is you can schedule the query results, which kind of functions in the way an alert would, but you cannot, so you can set a frequency and then the queries will go to your email, to an email address based on that frequency. So there isn't something like a specific alert where you get it each time somebody's added, but you can take a look at when they joined and you'll be able to see the new joins that way, or people that have been terminated or suspended. It'll be by the date.
Thank you, Yarmila. Really quickly, just to address Miranda's question about committees, that's still a work in progress, so more to come on that. We have a question from Terry. Are we able to update members' records on the record search? On the record searches, how do we run special reports, like who is eligible for board seats? We are going to answer both of those questions separately. The first one, are we able to update member records? Yarmila, that's to you.
We'll have to get back to you regarding that one as well.
I answered this one actually. You will not be able to update the member records. The whole purpose of us having a very seamless member profile is for them to be able to be self-sufficient and log into their profile and update it themselves. If they're having issues, they can get in touch with membership, or you can escalate that issue to me and I'll try my best to help them. And then the second question, Jessica, how do we run special reports like who is eligible for board seats?
Everyone knows the answer to this. Everybody in our membership, as long as they have an active member record and they are in good standing, are eligible for board seats. The composition requirements are specified in the bylaws, and I encourage you to go there for that language. It's also listed in the election kit, which you can find easily on the frequent links in the volunteer hub. So Maisha, I'm going to ask that you pop that volunteer hub link into the chat here for our folks. And Brian has a question. What is the web address where we access the system? So specifically, what is the web address to access Impexium? And let's give Yarmila, since you're off mute.
Okay. That is, hold on 1 second. It's actually membership.asid.org. but you can also access it through the ASAD website where it says login, and that will connect you to the database.
Thank you. So to be clear, it's a single sign-on from the member profile to the database. And because you are chapter administrators, when you log into your member profile, you have special roles set up for your login that will allow you to access these pieces. So your primary one-stop shop can be asid.org, and you log in from there, and then you can go ahead and navigate the back end of the database. Alternatively, that Impexium address again is, say it again, Yarmala, I'll type it in the chat.
It's hold on one second. It's membership.asid.org.
Okay, it's in the chat now. Thank you. Ali has a question about the dashboard reports with overview stats from the month previously. I'm going to give that one to Yarmala.
So with the queries, you'll actually be able to pull the reports on ad hoc. So you won't see, I guess, saved monthly reports. You'll be able to pull what you need.
Ali, if that answers your question, great. If you need clarification, please feel free to send another question in the Q&A. Mary Donna wants to know about the chapter membership director receiving the chapter membership roster weekly or monthly. Mary Donna, when you guys go to set up your automated queries to send to you, you can also include in the email, in those recipient lists, your membership director, so they can receive it automatically. You can also elect to forward that if you get it directly to yourself. It's up to you, but there are options for that. We'll go into, if we want, Mariana asks, if we want a more in-depth tutorial on the database, where do we go? I'm going to push that to Maisha.
Great question, Mariana. So along with the SOP that we will provide to you to help you navigate Impexium on your phone, you can always use your chapters team as a resource for ad hoc Impexium related questions, and I will try my best to help you. And if you want a more in-depth tutorial on the database, if you have specific questions about how you can optimize your access to Impexium, feel free to direct those questions once again to the chapters team, and we will either look for the answer through our contacts at Impexium or answer it ourselves.
Thanks, Maisha. Min has a question. Can we grant membership or purchase membership for IP as a part of their sponsorship package? Yarmala, I'm going to ask that you come on and answer this one for us. Min is asking again, can we grant membership or purchase a membership for an IP as a part of their sponsorship package?
So for that one, IP members can actually join online. And if you have any questions regarding sponsorship, you can contact the IP team.
So to be clear, the chapter sponsorship package that might include pricing for membership as well might need to be reevaluated at the chapter level to align with the membership changes that have taken place as it relates to our organizational membership categories for affiliate members and our individual membership categories for affiliate individuals. It's not as directly related anymore. If you are including an individual membership category ASID affiliate for industry partner directly, you could potentially still maintain that sponsorship package. However, the membership join would still need to take place within ASID systems. As a reminder, membership happens at the national level and is passed along to the chapters. So it's a membership at the national level first, and then a membership at the chapter level. For organizational memberships, we recommend that that pricing, that join pricing be removed from your sponsorship packages. Amanda has a question. For those of us who are members as well as admins, do we have two profiles, or will we have admin availability from our member profile? This is a fantastic question. I'm so glad that you asked it, because the answer is you will access your admin profile through your member profile. You no longer have two. We have merged those pieces to allow for more flexibility with that space and to allow you guys to access all of the chapters that you manage. And if you are also a member, to manage your membership in one spot. So you're not having to log in, log out, log in, log out. And this is really key for those of you who manage multiple chapters. You have one login and it's tied to your individual membership account. All of the membership information associated with all of the chapters that you manage, including the queries, will be visible through that single sign-on. That's a great question, Amanda. Thank you for asking.
I guess to add to that too, the chapter admin is a user role, so that's what kind of allows that to happen.
Yes, thank you. So as folks might transition in and out of that space as a member, Amanda, if you were to ever transition away from the administrator role, then that would mean that we would just go in the back end and update your membership role, or I'm sorry, your user role for the database. And then that would still allow you to maintain your membership. It would have no impact to what you experience there. It just removes your ability to see all of the rest of the database information as the administrator. Allie has another question. The reports that have always been considered, those reports, I'm assuming this is a follow-up question to her dashboard, so I'm going to let Yarmila answer this one more directly. The dashboard reports have been considered a nice service from National each month. Just to be clear, that will no longer happen.
So you'll be able to access the reports that Maisha showed us or showed when you log into the query section, and you'll be able to pull those at an ad hoc. So you can pull them more frequently and as you need. So we're not really getting rid of it necessarily. It's just the service is a little bit different. It's at an ad hoc.
Okay, thank you. Hopefully that answers your question, Allie, but just to be direct, the reports that we were used to getting in that dashboard at a glance that was designed is no longer an option through this particular database. You can still get the information through the queries that have been established. It just doesn't look the same way. Mariana says, what field do I add to the query results to show member appellations? Actually, that's a good question, but I think that maybe is a little bit of a deeper dive to go through when we want to do another series on building our own queries. At this point, we're not prepared for that level of training. So we'll go ahead and do a follow-up on that as well for all the groups, but we'll definitely connect with you, Mariana, individually. Is the system ready to pull rosters from Pat Gallagher? Maisha.
Sure. Pat, to answer your question, yes, the system is ready to pull rosters. While we wait to give you your Impexium access, if there are roster requests you have, please send them to either chapters or to mhawk@asid.org. My bad. Could I please also take a moment to answer Mariana's question about the query results? Thank you for that feedback, Mariana, of that appellations are important to the communication that you're doing with the members and to keep in mind who belongs to your chapter. We can take that feedback to the Impexium team and see whether we can add that to the query.
Thank you. We're going to take 2 more questions and we are at time. We're going to go ahead and invite you guys to email us additional questions that you might have and make a commitment to offer additional trainings within the database as it relates specifically to more robust users. The first question we'll take, or our penultimate question that we'll take, is from Shauna Reed, follow up to the member admin access. If we have multiple chapters that we use the admin email to access the database, will we see all chapters under any of the admin emails tied to the chapter? What I believe you're asking is, can you log into using one login? Can you access all of the chapters that are that you manage? The answer is yes, you can. The email account that you choose to log into will be based off of the one that is selected as primary, and we can update and adjust that for you. So if you would prefer your primary access to be a personal email account as opposed to one of your ASID email accounts, we can set it up that way. If you prefer that your primary email account login be one of your chapter email accounts, maybe the one that you spend the most time with, we can do it that way as well. That's up to you. And then our final question is from Helen Torres. Can we have more than one board member log in? We could benefit from being able to tag team on this. I appreciate the benefit of having multiple folks. Unfortunately, our policies restrict the number of members who have access to the database to just one. And primarily that position is the chapter administrator. Given some chapters do not have administrators, we are allowing one person as designated by the board to have access to the database. And as a reminder, Maisha mentioned earlier, there is a permitted use and a contract agreement for using the database, which we will issue by the end of the week to all of those who have the role of chapter administrator, or those who have been designated on the board with that particular role for database purposes. So once you sign that, we'll reissue your login with your primary email address. Again, that will most likely be your admin email address, one of them. And for those like Helen, who is a board member as well, that will go to your membership profile. So we'll just go ahead and make sure that that role is connected to your membership record, and then that will give you access that you need. And that concludes our member profile and Impexium database webinar. We want to thank you guys so much for allowing us to be a part of your day and for your grace as we navigated the hiccups that technology threw our way at the beginning. And really great questions from everyone. Thank you to my colleagues Maisha and Yarmila for joining us. We are but an email away should you need anything. chapters@asid.org or membership@asid.org. Thank you again. Until next time.